Hello and welcome to the first business update from the consulting room of 2022. And we've got a lot to talk about today. As you can imagine, the year has started with a bang. The first thing we want to look at is salary inflation. We talked a lot about that in the last quarter of 2021, and it's certainly not going away. There's some headlines here that talk about £150,000 for graduate lawyers as a starting salary, which is quite eye-watering. But in general, we're seeing inflation running at about 15% in a lot of cases. Sainsbury's have just announced £10 as a minimum salary or hourly rate for their employees. And right across the board, we're seeing salary inflation. So how's that working in your business? Have you got a remuneration package that's wider than just the base salary, whether it's rewarding them with healthcare, bonus schemes, all sorts of different opportunities there. But salary inflation is something we need to be aware of. It's not going away, and how's it affecting your profitability in your business? Unfortunately, costs continue to be the theme this week. So energy prices, you'll have seen that there's a lot of talk about how they're going to cap energy prices at home, but even that's talking about a 50% increase, 50% increase in the rate that can be charged for your energy bills from home. Now that's great if you're working from home or you're a homeowner, in the sense of it's reducing the risk, although it's still significant. But from a business, there's no cap, and there is absolutely no talk of there being a cap. So the energy companies can keep ratcheting up their pricing to you to, in some cases, offset the issues that they're having with home supply. So please, please, please keep an eye on your energy costs, because they are going up. And again, they will have a massive impact on your profitability. So energy costs going up. What are you doing about it? How are you working through with your employees in your place of work to keep them as under control as possible? Interesting from America, where General Motors has lost its title as America's top car seller for the first time in 90 years. But does that really matter? Who's really worried about being number one? Is number one important? Simon Sinek does a great YouTube talk about the difference between the finite game and the infinite game, and how businesses should focus on the infinite game and what's important to them, and not worry about some made-up rules by General Motors or Toyota, both looking to claim to be number one in a specific field. So from your business's perspective, yes, it's nice to be successful, but be successful on your terms. What's important to you? What does it mean that you have succeeded? And that's the infinite game, playing to your rules, focusing on what's important to you, and winning your goals and achieving your goals. That's the infinite game. So it's nice to be number one. I'm sure General Motors have got a bit of a bruised ego today, but let's focus on the infinite game and achieving our goals, not somebody else's. So waste, net zero carbon, sustainability, all things that have been talked about for a while now and are not going away, and again are important. So what are you doing to reduce waste in your business? A great example is Morrison's with milk. Some incredible and eye-watering numbers here. 490 million pints wasted every year of milk, because the use by or best before dates cause people to throw it away when it's still actually drinkable. So they're moving away from use by dates and moving to best before. So what that means is that people have a choice in terms of their thought process to say it might be best before this date, but it doesn't mean it's not good after this date. And they reckon that they can encourage their consumers to use their milk after the best before date. And that's an incredible amount of milk that we save, and obviously that reduces waste, and that in itself can help the environment. So what can you do in your business that's small changes that can have huge impacts around the piece? Still on the food and beverage area, so obviously through the last 2 years, the sales in restaurants have been struggling, premium high end, because of all the lockdowns and restrictions. And actually, there was some real worries in premium food consumption, such as caviar and champagne, that would have a negative impact on their sales. Actually, the consumer has still bought caviar, still bought champagne in great numbers. They've just found different ways and different places to consume them, mainly at home. And that's one thing that we talk about when we're talking to businesses about your consumer. What choices do they have if they don't want to buy your product? Yes, there'll be the competition out there who are trying to sell the same as you, but in a lot of cases, they've got an opportunity to not do anything, not buy it, or do it themselves. So in this case, rather than going to a restaurant and eating caviar, they're eating it at home. They're creating the environments at home. They're buying the raw materials and putting it together. So we always have to be aware that while our products might be sold by somebody else, consumers also have the choice to do it themselves or do nothing. So what are you doing to ensure that you're adding more value than doing it yourselves? And lockdown has caused us to rethink how we live our lives. And you can see here that from champagne and caviar, sales are buoyant, even in premium circumstances. So something to think about there. I'd like to leave you with a couple of fully funded business programs that we're putting on in association with Newark and Sherwood District Council. The first one is a business support program that we ran 12 months ago for under 3-year-old businesses in Newark and Sherwood District Council region. And we're delighted that they will be starting again in February, 2 hours a week for 16 weeks of focused support for new businesses. And the business resilience program, which the second program starts this week, and a third program will be launched in March, specifically focusing on construction and manufacturing sectors. So if either of those are of interest to you or any of your clients, please give David or I a call. Have a great week. Take care.